Good night of Shabbos, Parshas Koirach. Parshas Koirach, and we are at Gimel Tammuz. So Koirach, Parshas Koirach is a very, very intense parsha. It's on the surface, the way we understand it is that there was Moshe, and then there was Koirach, and they wanted Kehina, they wanted Leviah, they wanted to go higher, and it looks like they were fighting over titles and positions in the company. You know, like, I want to be here, Kulam Kadeshim. And the question is, like, we're looking at them as fools because, you know, Moshe was the one that he is proven to be the truth, and Korach Vadasa, they went into the ground. So, and it's like, yeah, a bunch of fools, a bunch of idiots. What were they thinking? So, you know, Rashi and the Farshim asked the question, and they were not fools, they were Anshe Shem. There was very, very powerful people. There were Nasiya Eda, there were Korach was a giant. I mean, I'm not going to try to paint a picture of what a giant is. I have no clue, but I know he was at the level of Moshe, you know, so to the person that spoke to God. So really what they were saying is that we also talk. We also heard the Nochi, we also talked. They were all Nevuim, it was next level. They were right there. So it became very dark as they became very thin. And really what they were doing is they were going in a battle with the Eibishter, because they knew that Moshe represented the highest koyach. Tzaros gonna from Mitzrayim, and it took them split the sea and the man and all that stuff. I mean, he was the messenger, the conduit for that. So so in Kolzeh, they felt enough of a validation, enough truth within them that something needs to change. So really, there's a lot of ways to go with this. That happened on many, many levels. One is they were really they were fighting over who can get the job done, and they said that your way is just taking too long, maybe, or it's you know, they really, as it's on the Mefarshim, it says that first by the Slav, the people died, and then the Meraglim, they died again, and so they started questioning if, you know, how strong the koyach is, and they felt they have a stronger source. So so what happens over here is that once again something crazy happens where we go above and beyond nature. Teva ceases to exist. I don't know why yet. What does that mean? I'm not so interested. Teva is going through a reality check, so to speak, which is that Shem Elokim is going through a reality check that there's a higher power, Yud Kavavka, that runs with Ashgacha, that can flash through all the Kalim, and everything is just becomes, you know, Oz is just Ashgacha. There's Oz Teva. You're not locked into a certain seder of events. It can just happen through Hashgacha Liana. So one was by Kriyas Yamsuf, Makas B'choris, Kriyas Yamsuf, which he just, you know, Teva was broken into two, and it just opened up, and all of a sudden the screen was removed, and we were able to see from the forehead, from the Metzach, we were able to see right through Das, the back of the head, Das, we're able to see being present with what's really going on. So that firang, that illusion, that smoky glass, the cloud that was not there, that was removed. So once it happened, once it's deeply printed in within our DNA, now we can just, you're living from a place of above Teva. You have the ability to go into above Teva. And the second time that happened is when the floor split open, and it took in Koirach and his Vaidasa, whoever, the Chuv over there, his kids. What does that mean? And he made a deal. He had it out with them, and he said, "Look, if we're going to die a regular death, then fine. But if you're going to die a way that nobody's ever died before, which means that it doesn't exist in Bria, such a death doesn't exist in Bria, which means that there's no powers here. You're saying that it's my power. I'm doing. I'm just a better magician than you. You're so, but I'm bound within Teva." I'm bound within Teva, which means that I can't get out, I can't perform something that's out of Teva. It has to be within Teva, so we can play with Teva. But to be able to, for something new to happen, a new ischachas, a new reality, something that's not in Teva, a completely new thing, he's like, well, if I can do that, then that's it. Right? Which means that Kitchebrichim was just coming through him. That was what was happening over there. And that's what happened. The ground opened up and they got swallowed. And it was a massive, it was part of the Yetzias Mitzrayim. It was another level of crack of Nachash, of the Tanan Agadol, the big serpent, the Par and the Shach Dinim. It got a massive, yes, you're very real, you're very present, and the pain is real and the shortcomings, but they got a reality check that even that is not real. Even that is not such a strong reality. There's a stronger reality that something completely new can crack open, and the earth can open up into a whole new reality. So, what does that mean? What does that mean? It means Gimel Tammuz. That's what it means. Gimel Tammuz is Tuesday, which is the Rebbe is 30 years of his Estalkas, Gimel Tammuz. What's Gimel Tammuz? What does it mean? Gimel Tammuz is an energy that changed our world. That if not for that, it would have been left as the stories of the Baal Shem Tov that you hear Motzei Shabbos. That's as far as that would go. But even less, because now the stories of the Baal Shem Tov, you know what to do if you're able to go there because of Gimel Tammuz. I'm saying Yuda Aleph Nissan, but Gimel Tammuz is when the Stalgus is, and now we're celebrating Gimel Tammuz, which means that this is when this light that brought down this new idea, a new way of thinking, allowed a person to, show the way to the identity, show the ways to how we get to self in our times right now in Ikus and Meshicha. Very daring mission and very against anything that was, accepted, with, all types of mitzvah and tefillin on everybody and everybody's Eid and candles and that whole thing of waking people up. On Gimel Tammuz is when it went back from gif back into light. And then, as you can see, that all the gif, which is the guf, which is the chaymer, which is the pieces, the blocks that you leave, when you go into the higher place, you're able to be mashpia on that. You're bringing life into that, whatever deeds you did brings life into that, and those deeds give power back up and goes, to the highest, the higher and higher levels. The more they are inspired, the higher it goes, and the more it can be mashpia stronger. So each year that we go further, the light becomes stronger. As you can see by the Nachman also, all of a sudden, it's 200 years later and something, whatever the number is, and all of a sudden there's hundreds of thousands of people going through there. It's not just the thing that people go because they have nowhere else to go. First of all, it's not easy to get there, and second of all, these things, you don't just go. There are many holy kvarim out there that you never heard of. So that's one. And number two, it's if really when you go to a kever and you tune in, it's something that's taking you there. There's something that's taking you to the kever, something that's taking you to that light, to that tzaddik. So Gimel Tammuz is the transition. Is a transition. Look at life without the Chabad Chassidus. It opens up the mind, and it's not a chassidus, it's a consciousness, it's an understanding. A lot of work has gone into this. This is, it's 7 generations and all the way back to the Maggid and Baal Shem Tov, like keeping that pipeline alive in a way that, there are a lot of chassidus written that are very short. You have to be allowed to write so bright. To talk about Eibishter in such a way, in such a physical way, to revealing godliness here in Welt, in the physical world, then asking the limitation, there is no limitation. The earth will split open, which means your malchus will split open as you find yourself in a complete new reality. Parshas Kodesh, a complete new reality. They went on Mesiras Nefesh. And it says that they went on Mesiras Nefesh. When they brought the Ketores, they went on Mesiras Nefesh. They knew they're playing with fire. They knew that they can die, and they actually wanted to do that, to go on Mesiras Nefesh, because they knew that the only way to rid of that, look, they were willing to die in what they believed in, which means that no matter what happened, they went on Mesiras Nefesh, they went in Kiddush Hashem, so the other side was sanctified. Now we know that there's a truth. Moshe Emes, Mesiras Emes. That's what they're screaming in the ground. So regardless, they went on Mesiras Nefesh, and they didn't go for power. They went for a specific reason, and they went all the way with it. They believed in their fight. And there was a Kiddush Hashem. So the earth has opened up. That's in your center, your will, tapping into what you want, and realizing that remove yourself from it. As the earth is opening up and it's becoming deeper and deeper, remove yourself from your pain. Remove yourself from your from the addiction of whatever is pulling you down, and noticing that it's really just it's an energy. It's not really who you are. It's just something which is ungeklebt. So that's the koich of Gimel Tamas, Parsha Shabbos, Parsha Koich, and the Rebbe talks about it. He's saying, like, I don't understand, like, Koich did such a terrible thing, and why do we need to every year read, like it's in the Torah, it's Nitzchi. It's every year we have to go back to Koich. I mean, it's not something that we're proud of. But he says no. He says there is a deep message in there. There's a deep message in that. Torah is Nitzchi, which means that the earth is opening up this week Shabbos. It's opening up for you. Your Malchus is earth. It's Aretz. It's opening up. So, yeah, connect to, we should all connect to a tzaddik, tzaddikim, that have a live one, and then somebody that's not alive. Yes, the Levushim. And connecting, saying l'chaim, and connecting to what you want, the will. And if you don't know what your will is, then you got work to do. L'chaim l'vracha, have an awesome Shabbos.